Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be reviewing my second round game from the 5th Go Club, Cleveland Go Club ratings tournament. As a small reminder, if you didn't see my first video, I took a bye the first round, so technically this is the third round of the tournament, but for simplicity's sake, for the title and just for understanding, this is my second round. So this is my second game. My opponent, Jerry Jaffe, he is my father actually, and yeah, he taught me how to play, and yeah, I owe a lot of my strength to him. But whenever we play in tournament, which is actually not that often, he actually, if we assume it's going to be handicap, because we have played for the Ohio Championship before, and that is on my channel in an even game. So I did end up winning that and became the Ohio champion. Whenever we play handicap though, and we always are, because of our ranks, like the 4-stone to 5-stone range, I usually get beat up pretty badly actually. My dad's very good at fighting and he knows how to use handicap stones. So it's going into this game, I was like, oh, here we go again. And not only that, because he taught me, obviously I have some tricks up my sleeve, but he knows a lot of what I'm looking for. And yeah, he knows my style too. So, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into the game. As a reminder, the time settings is 30-minute main time with 3 30-second overtime. But we're both faster players, so it's probably where I got it from. But so time was not going to be an issue in this game. But yeah, so already Black's first move is not a bad move, but it definitely says a lot about Black's style. And again, this is something I expect from my dad, because again, not only does he see a lot of my games, I see a lot of his games. He likes the Soren, and you'll see besides blocking here, which is a very natural move, he does not play a third line move for a while, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I know a lot of players, when they see Soren, they kind of freak out and they don't know how to respond, because it looks intimidating, because it feels like if you jump in, you're going to get attacked, but if you don't do anything, they get a lot of points. But I'll show you in this review how I handled it, at least, and what I look for. And hopefully it won't be as intimidating. But yeah, Black blocks that way, which makes sense, because the thing is, this is so far away from this white stone that I just get a comfortable base, and then Black plays there. We'll get back to this move and why I'm not a huge fan of this move. We'll get back to that in a second. So I approach, and Black pincers, and again, this might, if you haven't seen kind of how, because a lot of this is AI based, what I'm doing, how to handle Soren, I take the corner. And again, it might look like I'm giving Black everything Black wants, but actually Black is giving me everything I want, which is cash. And so this is probably a game where so far both sides are actually happy with what's happening. But here's the problem that I see for Black is the top looks imposing. But the question is, are these walls here actually thick? Or do they have weaknesses? And of course they do have weaknesses. And they both have weaknesses. So one, we have 2 Knight's moves here. Those can be cut. And then we have a Knight's move here. And so really, when you have any moyo, if there's any weaknesses that can be exploited, that's going to be a problem. And we'll actually see in this game both of these weaknesses come up in the game. And so that's why I actually would prefer Black to play here. Because if we do something similar like this, and then, like, I don't have to play this way. And even if I do play this way, the thing is, Black might not have wanted me to take all this cash, but if you're going to play Soren and Moyo, you kind of have to be willing to play this way as Black. And I think Black would be happy here, actually, if I asked my dad. Of course, if I go elsewhere and we do something similar, again, I wouldn't recommend what Black did here, but we can see now there's no weakness on the right side. There's no weakness on the right side. So this is actual strength. This is actual strength. There's no Aji for me to exploit. It's just a thick 4-stone long wall. So, or 4-stone tall wall. But when you have these double knights moves, it's just not great. So yeah, I get kind of black kind of has to do that now, especially after playing this pincer, but I'm not a fan of it. But okay, so there's weaknesses there. So does that mean you want to just kind of go crazy and cut immediately? No, because any local fight here is going to benefit black. But you can use the weakness here to your advantage. And so one of the ways to use it is to just leave it and say, okay, black, you're going to have to fix eventually. And so if you have to take Gote to fix, then I'm going to potentially get 2 moves. But the other way is play kind of towards that weakness, if that makes sense. Play towards the weakness. And so because black has an extra stone here, and technically my left side here, my upper left, has some Aji, right? There is some Aji of push and cut there, whereas my right side is completely solid. I decided to play here and play towards the right side. And so one thing I see is this move to invade, or any sort of like move like this. But this is actually what black wants when you have a Soren. Even if you can end up living, and black has to be very passive to let that happen, because again, black has a lot of thickness. Even black could play this way. But just for simplicity's sake, let's say you can end up living here. Let's say black is very generous, just keeps blocking, right? Sure. And let's just say you're alive here, right? You can see that, okay, you've taken away the points here, but do you notice how black's actually still kept most of the moyo now in the center? And these stones here are completely isolated as white, and they're worth just a few points. So, and this is kind of backwards thinking. When your opponent has a moyo like this, especially Sanrin-sei, you want them to take it. But the key is you want them to take it on a small scale. That's the whole idea. And so when white plays this move, I am looking to play L15. I'm looking to play L15. If I play L15 directly, though, again, I can get sealed in very easily. So the idea is when I play here, I'm looking to play L15. But how do you prevent that as black? You don't want to play L15, because even this exchange here is most likely a good exchange for white. And again, if you look up top, it might look intimidating, but if we imagine white ends up getting this Hane here, do you add a move as black? What do you think? Do you add a move? If you don't add a move, then later when I clamp, again, white wouldn't do this now, but this is just showing that the top actually is not that big. You can't really fight here, because all of these moves that I get are going to help me run out. So okay, you probably have to add a stone. Okay, but what about the other way? Again, very similarly, actually, there's a lot of Achi with these kind of clamps, where if you descend, I'm going to jump, and again, I'm just kind of out. And even in this case, there's weaknesses here that black has to worry about. So if black ends up having to play these kind of tiger's mouths, we can actually see this top side is actually not that imposing. It's actually not that imposing. So you have to keep in mind, when your opponent makes a Sanrin-sei, they want you to jump into attack. But they also want to make a big area, right? That's what they're threatening. So instead, reduce from the outside. Reduce from the outside. That's the key. And even black's next move did surprise me, but again, since there's not a really good local move, I kind of get it. It's black capped. But we can see the difference between this cap, where black's on the same line here, and stone's on the same line, regardless of how far apart. Maybe if you get 10 or more, they don't have that much of a connection, but stones on the same line generally have a good connection. They're strong together. And so you can see all of these black stones here are on the same line. And so with this one, while technically, yes, the D11 stone is on the same line, the key is I'm looking at this right side group. And so when black plays here, I'm like, okay, I will get my shoulder hit and then jump. And you can see now I am getting closer to that weakness in black's shape, that knight's move. And then black breaks the shape. I think here, though, black should... What ends up happening is this stone at L11 kind of just gets forgotten. And black never really used it, whereas I think black should play this kind of move. This is still using this stone at L11. And yeah, and this move is still attacking white's shape here. Like if I go down, even black turning, you can see there's problems with my shape. So I would prefer this move for black. Because when black plays here, I'm able to play this knight's move, and now I'm pretty much out. Black jumps and I jump, and you can see now this stone is not really doing much. So again, even here, I would prefer, because when you jump here, you're really saying, okay, I'm going to keep you separated from your upper right. But in the process, I'm going to profit. But the right side is very small once white has this upper right group. So instead, I would actually let white connect. If you let white connect, all of a sudden, now the bottom side is where your moyo is. And that's actually the key with moyos is it's almost like a mirage where when you make a moyo, you're okay with your opponent kind of invading it going into it because you can make it somewhere else. So yeah, all of a sudden, okay, white invaded black's top moyo. All of a sudden, black now has a moyo on the bottom. So yeah, this direction is okay, but it's now black has to use the stone at P11 to their advantage. And then black just backs off. And again, here's black's first, besides these blocks here at, from the 3-3, this is black's first third line stone. And I just shoulder hit. Again, going back to stones on the same line, have a connection. I just kind of saw that, ooh, they're on the same line. When I shoulder hit, these stones are on the same line. I kind of like that. That was my only thought, honestly. And so here, black there's a lot of options here to answer this. And generally, honestly, it does not make a huge difference how you answer this. Like the difference between this and this is not going to cost you any games ever. But in this case, I can definitively say this move is probably not good here. And the reasoning is this exchange, white played a fourth line stone in exchange for black's second line stone. So already this is a good exchange. So I just leave it, and I like cash, so I play the 3-3. So with that being said, how should black answer then? Well, keep in mind, white has a weak group up top, right? Doesn't even have an eye. So I would play in a way that almost forces white to treat the stone. Like in the game, I treat it lightly, but black should play in a way to make white treat it heavily. So I would actually play a move like this. So what's the difference? So when you play here, this is already a good exchange. When you play here, now you're almost like goading white into cutting you. Like, okay, white, cut me. I dare you. And so if I go elsewhere, like in the game, let's say something like this happens, right? Well, now when I block here, this is a very good result for black, actually. This is a very nice shape. Whereas if you compare it to this, even though black can end up playing the good move, you've just played on the second line for seemingly no reason. So you've made this bottom side smaller. And even this shape has more weaknesses because there's some nice moves you can look at. So playing this one or this one, either one I think is the best here. And so the idea is, okay, if white separates you, now white has added a stone to the N4 stone. And now white cares about this stone. And so now if you stand up, and now white has no real other move, you just kind of have to stand up. Where do you think black could play now? If you were black. Yeah, black could pick your cap. Do you want to cap the upper side or do you want to cap the bottom side? And you can see now black has the dual attack going. And this is hard for white. Again, this continues to use the stone at P11, like keeping white separated from the upper right. It continues to use this stone. Now L4 is at the perfect spot. And yeah, this would be tricky for white. So I think black should play in a way that forces white to have to make the N4 stone heavier, or at least heavily consider. Like white could technically leave it here, but it's hard to. I would almost certainly block here and do this, and if black caps, just deal with whatever comes next. But yeah, so black does here, plays there, yep, and this is good. Again, the bottom side is not valuable, so even in this case, this is a time you could double Hani as well, because again, this Ponuki isn't going to expand that much, because this is the benefit of M2, and it's almost backwards thinking, but the benefit of M2 is that it makes the bottom smaller, but that's true for both sides. So it's smaller for black, but in turn, it also means it's smaller for white. So this is also possible for black. Play there. And then black goes there, and it is threatening the push and cut, so I dissent. And again, you can see black had 2 knights moves, so black says, you know what, let's add another one. Let's have a 3rd knight's move. And when you just have these kind of loose shapes, like maybe now when I'm not strong here, you know, it won't matter as much, but if I get strong here, you're going to have to worry about these knight's moves here. So black goes there, yep. And then I played here again. And it is kind of funny to say now, but my only thought was, well, I'm also looking to shoulder hit as well, which is what's nice about this. But I was just like, you know what? Let me connect my stone at N4 with good shape, with nice shape. I was like, ooh, double large nice. Let me take that spot. Yeah, so just connecting up, but also looking at Q7, almost kind of threatening to separate the upper right, because again, there's a knight's moves here, and you'll see I used that pretty shortly. So black jumps there. Yeah, this feels very greedy to me, because one, the bottom side does not matter as we stated, and as we said, there's a lot of weaknesses here, and so black's really saying I'm going to take all of this left side. Whereas I think if black even played a move like this, which is still 5th line territory, this is pretty solid now. And it's not like white's going to play these moves, because once again, the bottom side is not valuable. So I would prefer a move like this as black. Yeah. Black goes there. So then I poke at black's shape and then descend. So now you can see now black's right side is cut off. Now I will say I think black can play here, because even if I separate, black can come back and connect. So I think black should simply go here. Now what this means is I would play instead, because it's mi connection for black, right? What's more valuable, me taking dame here or me reducing the right side? So this is where I would actually play this way, and maybe black pushes once and then connects. These stones have more value, though, than just separating there. But I think black connecting, while okay, this obviously reduces the top. And remember, I played C18. And so now there's definite weaknesses in black's top side. So black kicks here, and I peep. So this peep's interesting. And it's not necessarily a bad move, but I'll say if black played perfectly, this move could be considered a mistake. So the idea with this iron pillar peep, which looks very strange, because like this kind of peep looks more natural and generally would be better, is I have weaknesses here. And this is pretty ugly, basically. Yeah, even if I can pull back and kind of stay semi-connected somehow, if this move becomes sente, then black's really taken away some potential eyes there. Yeah, and again, it is very difficult. Like black could push through first and then connect and then have cuts there. Obviously, the 3 stones up top are in danger, but we can see the center gets cut off. So there's a lot of aji there. So by peeping here, I'm just trying to prevent that. Like if black connects, now this doesn't work because I can just push here. Whereas that doesn't work here because black can Atari this way. and connect. So yeah, that was my thought with this iron pillar peep. Black, instead of just connecting, black does do a very nice push and then jump here. But this is where, because I end up just connecting down, and now this kick doesn't really make much sense for black. This is where I think black can actually ignore and go here. So the idea with this move is I'm going to push through, because that's really the only thing I can do now. So push, push, even extend once more. This is most likely Sente because black actually has no eyes. So black will probably connect, which, by the way, now black's solidifying the right side. But now I have to deal with the center. So now what that means is I can't really extend because my stones are weaker than black's. So I have to Atari, or cut. But then black can Atari, Atari, and you can just see how, okay, I captured 2 stones, but my beautiful shape, my double large knights, who would have thought, could get cut. So yeah, and again, this is where actually G4 comes in real nice, is now black can build a huge center. A huge center. So yeah, if black had just read that, 15 move sequence, it would have been better for black. But I can't blame black for, because even I didn't read all that. Because if I read all that, I probably would have just extended here. But yeah, there was a better way for black to play. But I do end up getting that, and then black blocks, and then Hane. And so here, this is where I needed to play a very important move. And it might shock you, but just take a second. What looks important on this move, or on this board, if you were white? Simply D18. And again, that might be like, what? Second line move? We're at what move is this? Move 55? How is this the most important move? Well, it's important because if black blocks, obviously, as we've showed earlier, there's weaknesses up top. And this definitely, when white has stones here, this definitely black can't refute this. You can just see, black's entire top is gone. So black probably has to jump here, but even this exchange is good for white because, and this is what I missed, when black played here in this game, I realized I have a lot of problems with my shape. So what are those problems? So I can't Hane here because even if black fixes, I need to fix this anyways. So I would get Gote regardless. If I go elsewhere, like if let me reduce your top, black is going to Hane. And this move is so annoying. Because it might look like I can just block, and when black connects, like I haven't really lost much, but black's going to push next and then cut here. And again, this is very annoying, very, very annoying. Because if I connect, then black actually can just capture my stones here. Yeah, if I connect this way, though, black connecting, the thing with connecting, even if I get this move here and black just connects back, these 3 knights moves that were once black's problem have now magically all been fixed. And so now what used to not really be black's thickness is now super thick. And so now this left side is a lot harder to invade. Now, once again, black's G4 stone is a lot nicer because now there's no weaknesses on the other side. Okay, so I can't do that. If I just connect, all of a sudden, oh, my group's actually in danger. And again, if I have to make exchanges like this, and again, this is alive now. Maybe throw in first. This is alive now. Or is it alive? No, it's not alive. Of course it's not alive. Yeah, it's going to be Ko. Some sort of Ko. Is this move Sente? This is very complicated, right? White still might be dead. It goes back to, is black's outside strong enough to handle this? Probably not. So this is very complicated, but just for simplicity's sake, you can see white has some problems. So, yeah. If I do this, same thing, I'm not alive. Yeah, just a lot of problems. So all those problems are fixed simply by going here. And again, I don't see black ignoring this. Like, where else on this board is black going to play? Like, is black going to play in the center? Or then, okay, the top is so big. You're going to expand your left side? Okay, I'll attack your top side. So just simply by going here, And if black jumps, I've fixed so many of my problems. Because the other problem is, and we see this in the game, when black descends here and I connect, black ends up getting this end game as well. So yeah, black gets a lot simply by blocking. So it's again, it's one of those moves that look at face value super small, but it's actually quite big. Okay, so black's push here, not good. Very ajikeshi. So instead, black should just play here, or actually just play here. And here's why. Let's say white pushes, right, and does something like this. Later, black might not want to push here. Notice how this kind of forces me to connect. Instead, black can play here. And now white has a lot of problems. A lot of problems. So by pushing here, you actually force white to make a tiger's mouth. So you force your opponent to make good shape. Whereas if you just peep, now you could play M14 later down the line. So it's ajikeshi for black to push first and then play there. So yeah, black should definitely just play here. And again, it's a tough choice for it. I'd probably push once. But then here, it's hard to say. Do I have to connect? But now black turned is so thick. So yeah, hard to say. Then we go there, yeah. And so the first question is, why does white play here? And this is simply because I'm simply asking black how you're going to play. And as we see, not only does black have the normal kind of Shamari, the knight's move Shamaris from the 4-4 on both sides, black also has M2. So the idea with this move is I want to play a move on this side, but before I play here, I'm just going to ask black, what are you going to do in the lower right first? That's simply all I'm asking black. Now, when you have these stones on the outside like this, you can play more aggressively. Like a lot of players think you have to just like play this ko, and that's kind of the only sequence, but no, that's not true. Like if this kind of sequence happens, you can play S4. Now, normally, when you don't have a double knight's Shamari, this move wouldn't be that good because white just breaks through. But we can see when you pull back here, even if white can Hane, you're actually pretty solid here. You're pretty solid here. So yeah, that's one of the ways to play this is when you play here, or if they play this way, you can play S4. If they stand up, don't block, because now you're forced into the ko variation. You can actually just play kind of S5 here. You play S5 here. And this, or S5, yeah, S5, if they block, I guess technically this would still be the ko variation, but yeah, something about it feels better. Something about it feels better because white's invested more stones, and white living now. How should I put this? If you played this way, I guess it's very similar, isn't it? What you should do, I guess what I should say, is simply play at either S5 or P2. Always think about the tripod shape here, and this changes a lot. So the idea is, if you play S4, it's like you did this, right? It's like you pushed white Haned and then you played S5. So we're getting rid of this R4 stone, which you'll see is not needed, because here you can simply just play Q2. And you can just see that even if you push it, you just block. If you descend out, you can just connect. Even if white plays like this. That's a dead shape in the corner. Now you can see you do need a lot on the outside to make this work. But you can see white stones here. Even though white has stones on the outside, it's not going to help that much. So all things on the outside, again, like in a textbook, I should say, nothing on the outside. S5 is the way you want to kill this. The way you never want to try to kill this is what black did. So this would be better. This is the best. This is good. Even playing some sort of move like this would be better. But black played S2. And S2, it's funny. I've only ever seen two players play this, and it's this game with my dad and one of his somebody he taught how to play. Those are the only people I've ever seen play the 2-2 in response to the 3-3. Maybe they just stuck out because I know them, but I've never seen anyone else play S2. So it's again one of those things like I'm not sure where they learned this, basically. But this is not good because the whole point of whatever you're about to do to the white corner is make it so that white's base is as small as possible. But when you play here, you're allowing white's base to expand. So, and again, my whole idea was just to play moves on the outside because black's not alive in the upper right. So I block, and black blocks. And again, black's idea is, well, if you do, what is black's idea? I don't know. What is black's idea? That's a good question. Like, if you Atari down, you're gonna kill like this, I guess. Yeah, you can just see you're giving white a huge base now, which is what you don't want to do. And you're forcing white to take an eye as well. So in the game, I block, and black blocks, but I attach here. And again, black has to worry about the upper right. Black has to worry about me connecting out. It's a lot of problems for black. It's black hanes and double hane. And this double hane, there's a lot of variations, but it's going to be ugly for black. So like, for example, if black tries to cut here and maybe play here, if you fight this ko, you're probably going to be pretty unhappy as black. Because as we said, not only is the upper right in danger, but if I win the ko, I get to save my corner. So you probably don't want to fight this ko. You just want to connect. And even if white just Atari's down, the thing is you can't actually separate white here. It looks like you can because of this cutting stone, but there's no way for you to keep this Q7 stone alive, basically. Yeah, if you do it this way, white can just hane. So, or even just stand up here. Yeah, just a lot of problems for black. So, yeah, can't really do it that way. Yeah. If you push once more, it's going to be very similar, but you're just going to have problems again, is the key. Like if you block this way, again, I'm going to Atari and block. It's actually worse for you eye-wise and the upper left and the upper right. So probably cutting on the inside is not going to be great. If you pull back again, the thing is white's going to Atari and connect. And again, because of your S2 move, you have to play R2 to keep white dead. But white's going to push through, and you just can't hold. White's going to capture something. Even if you try to kind of fight this kind of fight's going to be favorable for white. Even if you are separating white. Because again, white's created this backdoor connection at P19, so this white group in the center is pretty solid. Yeah. Not going to be good. So can't do that. So what black does in the game is good, just connect. But I think black's next move is a big mistake, which is here. I think if black goes here, this is going to be okay for black. So for example, I can descend now. And if you play here, then I'm going to connect. And now you're going to have problems again. Because push, connect, I can throw in. I'm going to make enough space to live here. So, but instead you can hane here. And even if white pushes once, the key here is, this move is sente, or maybe white doesn't even need that, but let's say white goes here. You've captured these 3 stones, white lives small, you can go elsewhere, right? And this kind of move at J12 is really calling out to me. But you've solidified the right side, you lost the corner, but in Gote, and you've captured these 3 stones. So this doesn't seem that bad to me. Yeah, but when black extends here, the problem is black's not fixing the cut. So I cut immediately. And if black had extended here, I can push now. And if black played the best move, which is here, I'm going to be able to do Atari, and maybe Atari next. That might be Ajikeshi, but I'm going to be able to live. And once again, black has to be careful about their life and death in the upper right. So, Yeah, can't really extend there. So black plays here and connects. I connect back. And then black plays a very bad move, which is R4. Because if you change the order of moves, this move is going to be very bad. And let's look at that. The best move to play is R2. Because you're threatening to play S4 next. So if white lives, which I do in the game, you're going to be able to play S4 like this. And this being able to play S4 means white actually has to add a move to live, and now you've reduced white quite a bit. But when you play R4 first, like black does, I get to connect. You have to play R2 again. You can see now you don't get that wedge. And now my base is a lot nicer. So black pushes and plays here. These exchanges are not necessary per se. I wish black would just, maybe this push is okay, but black should just play here and then go elsewhere. Because even if you get separated here, the thing is you have an eye at S12. No matter what, so you have your second eye at T11. So even if you get separated, there's no problem with that. But black makes these exchanges. And then even cuts here. This has to be way too small. Black takes the stone. Plays there, yeah. So, like, why not at least Hane here? Try to take as much as possible. Because there's no Aji here. So, yeah. This feels very... So, not only did I take black's right side and on a large scale, black gave me Sente by cutting at N7. So, what's the last biggest thing on the board? I just say, okay, let me come in. Black peeps, connect, and then black says, let me fight you. So I'm like, okay, separate, push. And here, I think black had an opportunity to change the tide of this game, basically, because you have to keep in mind, white has a backdoor connection at P19 anytime. So the question is, how likely am I to really get to a good attack on this white group? So black saves the stone, and now you can see these two stones are weak and black's center stones are weak. So instead, I think black should play here. These two stones are not valuable. And even if white plays like this and says, oh, if you take, then I'll get a connect. Again, keep your eyes on the prize. Black can cut here. And if white extends, play down. Something like this. This is the direction black wants. Black does not care about these two stones. And so what this game would end up being is I'd have to do something about the left side. So I'd probably shoulder hit. And if black caps, I have moves like this. I have moves like this, which again hurt the lower left. You got to keep that in mind. And then I would have to try to live on the left side somehow. And it's complicated. It's favorable for black, but I would have to do something on the left side for sure. But when you play this way, now black has to make sure, because they're cutting stones, you have to make sure you get a good result here, or you save these stones. So I jump here, and even if black had push and then jumped out, and I think this is probably well, actually you can't do this, can you? Because of the ladder here, yeah. So that's why black jumped immediately. I should definitely just connect here. Yeah, there's no reason not to, and I'm going to get the same kind of sequence. Whereas if you play here, this would allow black can't cut immediately, so black has to fix, but black's going to be able to cut here. And this would be some sort of trade. I'm getting onto the left side, isolating these 3 stones, but you get the 3 stones there. So this would be playable, I think, for either side. But black doesn't connect, so I connect, or black doesn't cut through. Push, push, black clamps, and then I take the elephant eye. And so we have a trade. I take these 4 stones, and black takes the corner for now. But yeah, you can just see black did not get that much in return. And I know black kind of got this corner, but these stones here are facing a very open left side for black. So black turns, so I jump in. Black needed to help these 5 stones, or at least that's what black thought. Obviously, I think this is better direction, because even if I threaten to capture the 5, those are not big anymore. They're useless cutting stones. So black's looking to build a little bit in the center, though. Play there, shoulder hits. Yes, it's okay. It feels very vulgar, though. But it's okay. Then black goes there. Yeah, so you can see black's trying to build the center there. So I play there, yep. And so what's actually happening here is this lower left is a question mark right now. And yeah, that's the whole idea, is if I end up doing something immediately, my idea was, like, even if I can do this and I can live, black's going to be able to connect back to the left side and actually make quite a few points there, even though I can take the corner. So I'm trying to kind of put some detours in black's connection back to the left side by playing this. And then black Hane's here. This move, yeah, this is... I understand black's reasoning, but when I can play here once... Because the only reason this is big is because you might be able to attack this group. So I played there once, and then I even go elsewhere because of how black played, even if black can cut here, which black does, when I descend, I'm threatening to connect back. So you can't kill me because I can connect back to my group. So black prevents it, but now I'm able to play this move, which is, it can be Seki, but that means white's alive. And then black goes here, which this is probably black's, I'll just say now, black's last chance. Because everything that happens after this is kind of, this move does not matter. This basically gives white the chance to get back into this game. Because white's been catching up, but black still has a lead so far. So if black just played something in the center, this would be a hard game for white. Or even black solidified the lower left. But this is kind of away from the action, because when I jump, remember those knight's moves I was talking about? Yeah, those are starting to look a little dangerous, aren't they? And also, black's center is starting to be a little dangerous too. So black plays there. So I connect and peep. So this is where also these exchanges actually hurt black's center. And we'll see that in a second. So black fixes, and the reason why black fixes is, let's say black fixes the other side. I'm able to Hane here like this. And even though it's like there's a double Atari here, when I make this bamboo joint, black's in a lot of danger. Because if black takes, I can cut, and this is not alive. If black extends, when I connect, same thing, not alive this way, or not alive that way. So black has problems there. And I think if black doesn't care about these two stones, it's a lot harder for white to do something there, because there's still Aji of like peeping this way. So yeah, these two stones were not valuable. So black goes there, but jump across and cut the knight's move, cut the double knight's move. As I alluded to earlier, black had to pay for this. So black connects, and now white has successfully cut off the left side. Now, it would be better for black to simply just extend here and kind of cut black's losses or something like this. Or even if this move works, this would be perfect. And again, this would actually still be... Black still is doing okay in this kind of case. But I think black definitely blocked too quickly. So now white is separating. Just descend. Because I'm actually looking at the corner here, because Hane and play here. And now we get a ko. But I have ko threats on the left side. Black has ko threats there. This kind of ko threat, though, I can answer by connecting. Atari, yep. Black connects. I connect because I know the ko is going to end, so I just take a big move. I don't need ko threats anymore, basically. Block. Black connects. And then connect. And this basically means white's alive and black does not have two eyes. So black fixes, tries to fix and play here, but because of the extra liberty, I can just Atari here, and black can't play A1. Even though black gets that Atari, there's not enough space to make two eyes there. So if you play here, I take out the eye, and if you play here, I can poke it out. So yeah. After killing that group, we play a few more endgame moves, but yeah. After a few more moves, black ends up resigning here. So yeah, very crazy game, and I definitely had to fight hard to make things happen. But yeah, a lot of this actually, and this is how I like to play my handicap games. Is like the mistakes will come. So a lot of these plays that I did were more of like exploiting Black's self-inflicted wounds. Again, Black had the double knights move, here. I used that to my advantage. I used the double knights move to my advantage, of course. Black saving these stones here in the center, I used to my advantage. So it was really just, yeah, no, kind of knowing the weaknesses and shapes and knowing how to exploit them. Yeah. Like I didn't feel like I did anything kind of crazy in this game. I just kind of was like, okay. Or let's not forget exploiting S2 either, the 2-2 spot. But yeah, I just was like, okay. I know this has X, Y, and Z problems, so I'll just bide my time, and yeah. So yeah, that was my second round game. So that meant I was 2-0 so far in this tournament, but I only had one more game left. But yeah, I was excited for it. But yeah, if you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next video.